Good morning, professional photographers of Idaho and beyond. I am Bob Ryder, and my guest, Larry Fry, my co-host, Larry Fry, he's not my guest, he's here every week. He's on his way. It's Saturday morning. And if you think that running a broadcast every Friday is hard, you should try pulling this together on a weekend morning. It's a little challenging. So I just thought I'd chat with you for a minute while we're waiting for Larry. The door's open, he's gonna breeze in, he's gonna be like, oh, I'm so late. Anyway, it's Saturday morning and it's okay. We can take it a little bit slower today. I need to share a couple of announcements with you, and then we're gonna get into my kit. And last week we had Larry with the bottomless backpack, and this week you're gonna get me with my full location headshot kit for volume photography. And I'm excited to talk about that. I have a lot to say over there, and on the second set I can give you a preview over there. Actually, let's do that. Let's set up, here's a preview. Ready? This is what that set's going to look like. There's a lot of kit and gear over there. It's a darker set than this one because it doesn't have the white background, but you'll see me over there in just a little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on, and anyway, it's Saturday morning, and my co-host is running late. But that's okay. We're gonna, I'm just gonna jump into some of these announcements that we would do together, and it's gonna look a lot like this. Let me get that up on the screen here for me to see. We're gonna talk about an event coming up on June 27th and 28th. This is our summer continuing education event, and this is 2 days with Brian Welsh and Aaron Hockley, and this is just gonna be a great time. You know, midsummer, we all tend to get in the rush of all of the summer activities, traveling and camping and doing all of those things. And it seems like we tag all of our education into the beginning and end of the year. And we thought it would be a great opportunity to bring you something in the middle of the summer. So we've got these guys coming up in a week or so. And the first day is going to be all about this competition code and how do you break the code? And the whole concept with this is, how do you merit prints in competition? And I'm looking forward to this. I've had a couple merit at the state level, and I've never participated in the, you can close that door behind you if you wouldn't mind.
I don't mind.
Thank you. My brother Larry's walking in right now, and actually have your mic on mute so that you can stuff that on your shirt.
Sweet.
And anyway, I was just going to talk about the competition code.
Yeah,
Tell them that good day. How are you, bud?
Oh, I'm doing
Let's
well.
come back. He's going to get mic'd up here for a minute, and you forgot me, didn't you?
I did not.
All we have to do is press
that button.
That should work. Talk.
Hello.
I think it's working.
Oh, you're going? Okay. I didn't forget you, but I remembered you late. How's that? I had to go get my trailer this morning, and I was working outside and trying to get stuff done before I take off, and all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, I wonder what time it is.
You remembered me late. That's brilliant. Clip that on your pocket because I think you might need to
over to my spot. That's
here.
right. We're doing that today. That's right.
Yeah, we are. So anyway,
yeah, let's do the competition code.
Competition code.
PPI, what's up?
This is Larry.
Yeah, so Brian Welsh and Aaron Hockley are coming on the 27th and 28th. And guys, listen, if you want continuing education credits, or if you just want to learn something, I think that this is going to be a way. We have a lot of information on the web. I think it's going to be more in depth than that. Yeah. And I think they will impart way more information than what I have on the web. So what's on the web is what they sent us, of course, for, you know.
That's their course description.
Description, yeah.
And then they're going to blow our minds for 2 days.
That's it. Exactly correct. Exactly. So 27th and 28th, both of them on the 27th. Brian Welsh on the...
Yeah, they're co-teaching on the 27th.
Correct. And then on the 28th...
Let me get to that.
All right. We got the marketing riddle with Brian. And then Aaron is going to tell us all about email marketing and how it's not dead. And the title is Fresh Opportunities for Photography and Beyond. So for those of you that don't know, that Mr. Show last couple of times, of course, Brian is he's got like alphabet soup behind his name for just about everything.
Yeah, and he's been our jury chair for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So Brian's just a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
And heck of a nice guy.
And Aaron's a techie. So when he says about the email code or the email opportunities, I can't wait to have him to see what he says. And we talked about this a little bit last week when when your Gmail comes in and you got a bunch of stuff from promotions and that stuff just goes to the trash. And even us from PPI, I'm going to talk to us about from PPI perspective because our MailChimp goes out and hits that darn promotion thing, and I want to know how to change that. And I know that's part of his classes to do that.
How to get past the filters. I could use that in my own business.
Oh, exactly.
This is relevant.
Yeah.
So we reach our clients a variety of ways, and one of the ways that we reach our clients is through email, of course. In fact, I'm a dinosaur. Like, I've been running a business a long time, and it's always been email. So we invoice through email, and we set appointments through email. They can go to the website and book with us, but it all comes pushed into my email system. I'm using Sam has had some influence on that. I'm using a Zap to get our booking appointments over to Trello, but it emails me and emails a copy to my wife, and like, we use that. But when we reach into our businesses, we do corporate work, like I'm telling you, right? So we do corporate work. So we're reaching into big businesses traditionally. They have IT departments. They have filters. I've got one company that I can't get my main email address through. Right. Pure and simple. Yep. I have to go to my iCloud email address that I generally don't use. But if I communicate to her through that, it works. It works, yeah. So you don't fight it, right? So this is and again, with MailChimp, we have, I don't know, a couple hundred contacts in our MailChimp thing. Doesn't matter. But I know personally, in my email, it comes into my promotions thing, which I literally don't look at. So, that's the way it is. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm excited. Brian and Aaron here on the 27th and 28th starts at 9 a.m. at Sam Marvin's studio on Meridian Road. You can get all that information off the web. You can go register on the web. You can go register from any of our emails. Brenda Leap says she'll be there.
Yeah, Brenda's already registered, as a matter of fact. So good for you, Brenda. And you really ought to try and make this. So here's the deal. If you come to both days, it's $149. That's for both of them. That's
for two
days.
Full days of education.
If you want to come to each day,
this gets a little convoluted.
You can still get a credit for each day, but you have to pay $99 a day. Yeah. And these prices are for PPA or PPI members. Yeah. If you're not a PPA or PPI member, then you have to add $50 onto both those prices. So it'd be $149 a day or $199 for both days. Okay. So. Okay.
And all of that, that was like a quick blast of all those details. Yeah. That's all on ppofidaho.com.
Yeah. And a great big button says...
It's a whole banner at the top.
It's a whole banner. You just click it. Punch on that. And if you get the email, in the last email I sent, I put a link right on top so you can't miss it. There's a link in the body too, but I wanted to make sure you didn't miss it.
So you know what I'd like to tell them? Yeah. Is if you didn't get an email and you are a member of PPI, you need to check your spam or junk folders, right, or your promotions. Right. Find us and okay us to be in your email system.
And if for some reason you didn't get it at all,
it is our most official means of communication.
Right. You need to contact us because we'll and you can do that at hello@Bob Ryder or Larry at Larry Fry Photography, and we'll make sure that your email's in there. If you didn't, the other thing too is when you register, don't forget your PPA number. We know if you're a PPI member because I can go check. But the PPA number is most important for your credit. What do they call those things now? I lost
it. Continuing education credits, your CE?
Merit, for your merit. There you go. Jiminy Christmas.
Jiminy Christmas. He says Jiminy Christmas. My wife is on board. She says, good morning, guys. It's great to have a few people
Hi,
here.
Brian. How are you doing?
You know who's not going to be here today with us?
I know, Laquita. I saw that.
Yeah. Something else to do. Yeah. So that's our announcements for the day, and then we're going to jump right on over to this. And I just need to show you. Well, let's tell them. I'm going to go through my camera bag today, and while Larry had the bottomless backpack last week, I do not have a bottomless backpack. I have a rock and roller cart. I have 3 main bags.
Oof.
Okay?
Oof.
I have 3 main bags. I'm not going to go details into each one of them. All right, I'm going to go through my main camera bag, and I'm going to touch on some stuff that's in the other bags, and I have slides that represent that, and that's what these are.
Okay.
So So you just saw that. What's in my bag? I'm the guest today. But the cool thing about this summer series that we're doing of What's in My Bag is that we have photographers, members, booked all the way through July.
Right.
To come in and talk about what's in their camera bag. And I'm excited about that opportunity. I'm excited that you're going to sit here and talk to somebody and I'm going to run the show.
Gonna try it. Yep.
That'll be a nice change where I can just run the buttons and do the things.
Yep.
And you can talk to somebody and then we'll switch that up a little bit. But the point is, we've got folks coming in to share how they work.
Yeah. And what's cool about that is the tips you're going to get from, and it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be carrying something in the bag. Somebody's going to go, I want one of those.
I need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know what I thought of? I'm like, you know what? I should have like affiliate links to everything that I use.
Oh man, that'd take.
We don't have the bandwidth for that.
We should look like NASCAR guys. We'd have like
those sponsorships. I'm going to give a plug.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've been buying. I use a very specific vintage tripod. And it has some attributes that I really like. And I use this tripod because every piece, part, and component on the tripod is replaceable, repairable. Okay? This is old school, right? Mm-hmm. This is, my tripods are all pre-84. That makes them vintage. That should make us feel good.
Doesn't make
so
me
anyway,
feel good.
I use these tripods and I found a source on eBay out in Florida. And she has been, her name is Nancy, she's been the most informed. I'm just blown away by her service. I got an email from her this morning. I have a few parts coming from her. Okay, I have tripod dollies. Auto dollies, have you heard of those?
Yeah, well, you were telling me about them last week.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay. So back in that era, back in that time frame, 70s and 80s, they made big, substantial, what they call auto dollies for these tripods. And our studio is such now that we could benefit from a couple of them. And I've got a couple on my way. She checked in with me this morning by email just to say, hey, they're in Idaho. You should have them Monday.
Nice.
And by the way, follow the set of directions that I sent you previously and make sure you do this. And if you have any questions, call me.
That's nice.
I just, you know what? It's just nice to be able to find folks that can provide something like that to us. What does Brenda have to say here? Curious to see how much stuff you take, because after watching Larry, I feel like I must take the whole house and the kitchen sink. And so
So what I didn't tell you guys
my
last
wife
week.
says, Brenda, we take a lot on location. She would know because she helps haul it and set it up. My wife is my key grip. She's. So
what I didn't tell you last week was I take one light with me.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was your minimalist kit.
When I go to shoot something, I take that. So
you also when you go to shoot something, because like I was with you when we went to Wendover, and you had an entire
studio
pickup truckload. I mean, between you and me.
So I have 3 Pelican 1650. The Pelican 1650 is the case that fits in an overhead.
Okay.
One is full of Godox lights. One is full of light stands, and I believe I can stuff my tripod in there too. And then one is full of miscellaneous like mag mod modifiers or umbrellas or whatever I need. So I have those 3 Pelican cases, and even at that, I have another bag. So MagMod made this thing called a mag. What the heck is that thing called?
Magbox?
No, yeah, Magbox.
Yeah. And
it's got this cool screen on it. One of these days, I should show that to you guys. So what it is it's basically a Fresnel-ish.
Rabbit hole warning.
It's basically a Fresnel-ish lens. It's that
goes to the front of your Octavox.
Yeah, the plastic on the front of it has all these little teeny tiny bubbles all over it, which in effect, I don't want to say it intensifies the light. It doesn't make it. Yeah, it doesn't make it brighter. It just makes it go farther. So, and I use that with my 82.
It makes it brighter.
It makes it brighter. But you have to
get more light for your light output.
You do, and this material, if they would just make the material to go over a standard softbox or whatever, I would buy that, because the Magbox is cool. It takes 2 8200s. You clamp them in with their magnet system, and so in essence, you have a 400 watt second light that you can use outdoors, and you can light stuff up from. It seems like a mile. It's not quite that far.
So what he's trying to say is what he showed you.
Well, yeah.
Was was his tiny, like, I'm going to take a one bag experience. But the comments that I heard all week long from people I've talked to, because I've talked to a lot of photographers this last week, is it just seemed like it was the bottomless bag, like you kept pulling stuff out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to put together and to. I'm kind of a gear nerd, as you can tell.
I mean, have you ever taken it apart piece by piece and been like, man, that's a lot of crap stuff in a backpack?
No, actually, it kind of shocked me what was on the table.
Right.
I'm like, wow, all that.
It kind of shocked us too.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I'm the antithesis of that.
But you carry more bags.
I do. So
Yeah.
so you did the one bag deal last week, and it was amazing to see that. And I just bought my first backpack. I just used it recently, the first time. And I'm amazed at how much stuff I can cram in there.
Yeah.
And I'm also amazed at how little I decided to carry to this event. Because I normally, so when we do corporate photography, we're going in to shoot anywhere from 30 to 130 people. And so we take a lot of gear, and it covers a lot of circumstances. But we're a team of, depending on the number of people we're photographing, I'm a team of 3 to 5 when we go into these locations. So this isn't just Bobo going in with his kit, right? So anyway, I want to share that.
So that's why this bag thing is so cool. Yeah. So Bob's got a whole different. I take that bag when I go shoot. Like if somebody says, "Let's go shoot," I grab that kit.
Yep.
Okay. If I call up a model and say, "Hey, I want to," like I want to do some Halloween pictures this year, some cool shit in Photoshop. So I'm going to take that bag. Why? Because I'll be in some park somewhere with a cauldron and wood and all kinds of crap, and you can't.
You've got a vision.
Yeah, and you can't do that in Photoshop. I mean, you can't do that you can't carry. You can do it in a studio, but I prefer to do it outside. It's more, in my mind, it's more authentic.
Okay.
And you can't Can you imagine dragging a bunch of trees and shit in here? Ain't gonna work.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck no, I've worked really hard.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just a difference in what you do, and like when we do shootouts or whatever, I'll grab that bag. Now, if I'm going to a wedding, I don't grab that. Well, I do take that bag, but I don't. I don't probably use anything in that bag. It's a totally different thing. And Bob's. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
You're a commercial shop. You do commercial work in a commercial setting. Totally different than what I do.
It is.
So yeah.
So I just want to show. Let's do this. I can cover this next slide sitting here. So that you've already seen the title slide. I'm going to spare you.
Now,
it's
so
my
when you click on
day-to-day.
that, it shows up over here.
It is, right?
Okay.
And then if I want it over here, you're going to hit the auto button.
Oh,
okay?
dude, I got this.
We're just teaching on the fly, okay?
Yeah.
So then I'm going to run through each.
I sit here and watch this every single week. You think I could remember to hit a stinking button, but
well,
no.
there's a lot of freaking
There's
buttons,
a lot of
right?
buttons over there.
So I'm going to show this to them, all right? And we'll talk through this right now.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is I have a monitor set up over there.
Oh, now you have the monitor.
After I watched you go, I can't even remember what's on the slide. I am now seeing this screen, okay?
Guinea
over there.
pig.
Yes, you were the guinea pig. Sam is coming next week. He's my guest next week. And then I'm coming back. We've got Jason McAdam coming. We've got TJ Schmidt coming. We've got Brenda coming. We've got Cary Grant coming. We've just got a great group of people coming in to do this. And I actually had a thunk this morning. For the first time ever, I feel like we could have a studio audience if we wanted to.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be pretty neat. We've got enough space now.
Can we have people like throw tomatoes and stuff?
No, let's not do that. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to come back to this. This is our typical loadout, folks. Okay, and I'm just going to say that along with this, let me punch this up. Okay, so that you can see us while we talk through this.
What button's that?
Never mind.
Okay.
Okay. This is camera 1, that's camera 2, and
Gotcha.
this is 4.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
you'll just run those between anyway.
All
It'll
right.
be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is our typical loadout. We take 3 primary equipment bags, okay, and I'm going to show you those 3 bags. We take a makeup touch-up kit. We do not bring a hair and makeup artist on site. There isn't time for that, but we do provide a fairly robust touch-up kit and direct people to it. It has a mirror, and we bring a light, and it's its own station at our setup. It's pretty cool. We bring a collapsible background or 2, depending on the nature of the event. Sometimes some of my clients aren't on collapsibles; they're on custom backdrops.
Do you buy multiple backdrops so they're all the same, or how do you do that?
Multiple backdrops.
So if you bring 2 backdrops, Are they the same?
So I do have one client that we have 2 custom backdrops identically made. They keep one, I keep one.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I have a little tickle here.
I'm glad you have
Of course,
water. Thank
the
you.
tripod is a big deal. I've talked about tripods, and tripods really aren't like this super sexy conversation to have. But
No, they're
I
necessary.
have a collection of these tripods, and I'm tickled pink.
He does. It's like a bogan fest over here.
It is,
But,
and
yeah.
I have one more on the hook that I'm going to pick up, and that's going to round us out. But the advantage to that is
round
that,
you out.
well, let me say, I typically will use 1 to 2 tripods on location. I'm going to cover that point while I'm over there on the other set.
All right.
Why sometimes we need 2 tripods, but having those tripods means I don't have to break studio.
Gotcha.
So aside from the 2 camera bodies that we're using and the 2 camera lenses that we're using to make our production today, they'll see everything else that we take, and that's in addition to a full studio.
Nice.
So we don't have to break down our studio to go on location. And that was a major point for us because we will very often be shooting, we'll be shooting in the studio on a Monday and a Tuesday and on location Wednesday and Thursday and back on Friday. And packing, unpacking, setting up, tearing, it's
Pain in the
just
ass.
super time consuming.
Well-
it is a pain in the butt, but it's time consuming and I can better use that time.
Well, and literally, I shoot in my garage, but it literally takes me a day to set it up.
Yeah.
So, again, completely different setups here. He's got it all set up here, and I totally get that.
Yep.
Where you duplicate this in a to-go kit, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that you can do what you do here, there, and
Yeah.
I totally get that.
So we've invested in that.
Right.
Right? It's one of the things where I would apply let me introduce you to professional photography.
Right.
Okay? I can shoot your staff on location today, and when your VP comes in tomorrow from his golf trip in Spain, we can pick him up tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. And
All he has to do is stop by and
we're
boom.
ready.
Yep.
And we're ready. And the only thing I'm going to do is I probably don't duplicate backdrops in both places. I don't do that. I will just take their background with us. So we would put that up, set the formula, and go. But it's pretty neat. I'm going to come back to this. If you want to see the picture-in-picture, it's just this right here. Boop. Turns that on.
Okay.
So it's the 3 primary bags. It's the makeup touch-up kit. It's a background. I shouldn't have said just collapsible because some of mine are hanging backgrounds that are custom made for my clients, either to match their office or to match something that they've been doing previously. The tripod, sometimes too. We take a fleet of sandbags. We just had a conversation on Facebook about sandbag materials. I don't know if you recall that. I had posed the question very specifically. I chose my words very carefully with this. I'll come back here for a minute. We use copper-plated steel BBs in our sandbags.
Yeah.
Okay? They're very dense for their size. They're heavy for their size. That's the point. Okay, so my sandbags are tiny in comparison to the person who's using rocks or sand to fill their sandbags. And they're malleable, which means I can wrap them around the base of a stand,
Squishy.
and they cover a couple of legs, and they're not just this rigid thing that isn't really giving you the coverage where you need it.
Yep.
And they're very heavy, and I have weights from about 6 pounds to about 15 pounds to cover a range of needs. If you're raising a light up on a boom stand, you got to put some serious weight on that stand, right?
Boom
and then
stands
you need
are-
something to counterbalance your 6-pound light.
Yeah.
So we have a fleet of sandbags. We take 6 with us on location. Pretty much covers everything we need in that regard. I haven't found anything besides lead that would be more dense than my steel-plated BBs.
Yeah, I don't
or
think
my
you're-
copper-plated steel BBs.
I don't think you're
and I
going
don't
to.
want to deal with lead.
Yeah.
So there's that. We bring an apple box and a tall stool, like a bar height stool. I have, in some instances, a few clients where I'll say, do you have a stool on hand? And they do, but it's got some huge back on it, right? That doesn't really work. So we bring a stool. It goes right on the top of the load on the rock and roller cart, or somebody carries it, and it's no big deal. It doesn't weigh very much, but we bring that on location with us, okay? And then, one of the most important things I can do is care for my people, care for my team while we're out there, care for myself while we're out there. So we always bring a small beverage and snack cooler. We bring a ton of water with us. I've got some clients, it's written in the contract, if we're shooting all day with them, they bring lunch in for us. We've got one client that practically caters lunch for us. They bring in very high-end food. We don't really get a lunch break, but we find a time to sit down and eat. It usually takes about 15 minutes, and then we're right back at it. But I usually put that right in my contract that we need to be fed. Those are your cards.
Oh, thanks.
And an invoice. Let's see, Brenda says, I'm in the process of building my second kit because, yes, tearing down and setting up the studio is time consuming and time is money.
Exactly.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right, so with this covered.
So I will say on the stool business, so when I go out to shoot, I also throw a stool in, always have. Especially when I go to a wedding, I have 3 of them. They're collapsible. The seats on them about that big around. They're from Walmart. I think it costs like $15.
Those are like the short stools?
No, they come. They're a regular.
A tall stool.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
I know. I might need the bead on that. We're taking a big metal stool.
yeah, no, these are like they fold up and they're collapsible. Now they're not. They probably won't. They're not like extremely durable. They're coming from Walmart and they're like $15 a piece.
Okay.
But for example, when I shot a wedding in Helena, Montana, and left my damn stool there, I didn't feel bad because I just gave it to the golf course and I went out and got another one.
There you go.
But the other one too.
Would you feel comfortable putting a 300-pound gorilla on there?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would not all day, and they can't like onto it, but they could sit. They could lean. You know how they kind of lean sit. Yeah. And then the beverages and the snack cooler. Most important when I shoot a wedding, I always, there's a cooler full of water at hand. I can go without the snacks, but I can't go without the water. And when you're running around and it's 90 degrees outside,
it's important to fuel my team.
And don't yes, in an assistant. So I just shot with an assistant over Seattle, and didn't bring water, didn't bring food.
Nope.
But I had it. It doesn't really matter. It's just that. You would think. I mean, that's one of those things. I'm sure. Hopefully, he went away and went. You know what? That was pretty smart.
A lot of folks get so wrapped up in their gear.
Oh, they do.
And the nervousness of I'm going to do this event and it's a one-shot deal.
And he was brand new, and it was. So
you had him covered.
I had him covered.
Right.
But the point is, I wouldn't go out even with the model on a hot day. I would still have water.
Oh, you got to have. You've got to take care of your models if you're working with models,
absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So anyway, I consider that part of our kit, and the whole thing rides on this rock and roller cart. We very rarely carry anything into the site. Okay, it's almost always on this one major cart. Sometimes I'll have a person or two carrying the cooler or the stool or something like that. But our goal, our objective is to be very compact when we arrive, and then they walk in and they're like, "How did you get all of this in here?" It really is. It's a great experience. All right, so I'm going to move over to the other set.
Other than the cart, now that cart is cool. Got to admit, because that provides a work surface for him.
I'm going to use it as my display table today.
Right. Oh, cool. So you'll see it. When I go with all my stuff, with the 3 Pelican cases and all the shit that I have, gear I have, I use a wagon. I have one of those. A couple of people I know, you've inspired the wagon trend all across the board. Good, because it's handy.
And I could see utilizing a wagon just for the odds and ends that don't politely on my car.
As a general rule, when you're at a wedding venue, you're not going into from the parking lot to concrete to a building to inside through an elevator like Bob would do.
Right.
Generally, you're on a golf course. Okay. And you got
or a barn wedding.
Or a barn wedding, yeah. And you're out in the middle of a field or something. And so my 3 Pelican cases, my Low Pro, and my tripods, and my sandbags, all stacked onto that wagon. I pulled them through a field to get to the barn. So I'm just saying,
there's a reason.
Different venues, different opportunities, and totally different here. I'm excited to see what you got. So
all right,
I'll shut up.
So I'm going to just show you this last little bit right here. Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna run through these next 3 slides, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Okay. And when you want to put that slide up, you're just gonna hit that button. If you want to return to this camera, it's 1. If you want to return to my camera, it's 2. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we're gonna throw 2 up here on the preview.
Okay.
And I'm gonna walk over there.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
And then I'll put 4 over here. And really, that's what you're gonna need until you want to be back on screen.
All right. You're walking pretty good today.
Yeah, well, it's the thing, right? All right.
All right, we have switched places and looked out.
How's it feel over there?
It's kind of scary.
Kind of scary. Well, and I'm used to being able to look down and see myself, so that's a little bit off-putting. But at least I can see what's on my slides. So if you would just click P2, I don't need it on the show yet. I just need you to click on it. There it is. I'm going to first talk about, well, let me introduce my bags first, okay? And this is fine just to leave me on camera for just a minute.
Names for them, like Eleanor?
And they're not really named that way. I'm more technical than that.
Okay.
Right? Like, so in the back left here, my left, your right, I have my Man Frodo bag, and there's a slide to break down the contents of this, but there's some key players in here. I always have a power cable reel. This gives me both AC outlets and USB outlets so that we can charge gear during the day. I've got tape of various different widths and colors. I have super clamps, which I have clamped onto the top of this stand, the J-hook. And anyway, I'm going to come to this, but so that's our stand bag, really, is what that is, okay? And it carries our modifiers and lots of odds and ends as well. This is my camera bag, and over here we have my second bag, which carries primarily lights. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's probably the briefest slide that we've got in the whole bunch. I've got up here an Apple box because we bring an Apple box either for, okay, so my gal that does our touch-ups before people go on set, she's tiny.
I know her.
I bring her an Apple box. Some guys walk in and they're 6'5", and she's like, you can't ask these people to, like, can you, like, get on a knee for me? No, so anyway, I bring an Apple box because my gal Rochelle is really tiny, and she can get on the Apple box and still work with folks. Here's my makeup kit. This thing's pretty special. I'm not going to go through it, but just know that it does a lot of really cool stuff. It opens up, and it's got layers and layers of stuff. Mirrors and scrunchies and hairbrushes. We do all one use. Well, look, that's going to be polite and close up for me. We do all one use makeup and brushes. If a client uses a brush, they keep it. So we just build that into our pricing so that we can give stuff away. Like, I'm not going to spend time on location trying to sanitize hairbrushes and stuff. We've got a handful of them in our touch-up kit. If they use a comb or brush, they get to keep it. And all of our makeup is done with applicators and things like that. And we really only bring like rice papers to blot oil and some they're almost like a cotton swab, but they're slightly different. It's like a foam tip applicator that they can put some lip stuff on. But that's as far as we go with makeup, just making sure that we put a little shine on their lips. And then the key players also, my Bogan tripods. I love these, and I talked a lot about them, so I won't talk a lot about it now. But we bring one of these. They're all identically equipped with the same head. And then everything that you see here is sitting on my rock and roller cart. You don't have the full pullback view of the rock and roller cart, but it is a standing height table for me when I'm working, and I do use it as such. And then, of course, it holds all of this equipment, holds all of the bags. It's got a bag in the end that holds stands and tripods. If I have to bring additional equipment, sometimes we bring a roller stand because I find them immensely useful. And I can fit a tripod and roller stand into this end bag. And then, of course, our cooler of water. Okay, so that's kind of the overview of everything that you see here. The background that I'm using is one of our collapsible Kate backdrops. I absolutely love my Kate backdrops. They're the best shooting collapsible backdrops that I've found yet. I am not sponsored by Kate, but I've tried a lot of different brands. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready for the reveal.
Let's
show them what's in this bag. Go ahead and push that over.
I did.
Great, thank you. I guess I should start right here at the top, all right? So we have a rule. This is a great rule for every photographer out there. Come back to the camera for just a minute, if you wouldn't mind. We have a rule about our bags. It is either fully open or zipped. It's never closed and not zipped. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Tell them why.
Okay, so if you've ever watched a photographer, Mark Rosansoff, if you've ever watched a photographer pick up their bag and have their camera and lenses come falling out because they had it laying closed And are we getting a phone call?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay. Welcome to Saturday morning.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's all good. It's Saturday, and this is we're doing something different, which is exciting. But so that's our policy, and it's one of the first things that I teach every one of my team members. The bag is either open all the way, which I'll show you in a minute, or zipped. And zipped can be, in this case, I have one side of it zipped. You can pick this bag up and nothing's going to fall out. This is a typical working method for us. So instead of having the bag entirely closed, it's zipped securely with one zipper to the middle at the top. And I just have to open one zipper to get inside. But if they were to pick it up and move it, it's not going to fall open on them. And that's such a big deal. All right, let's give them that slide back for my Think Tank Airport Security version 3. And that's what I'm in right now. And then we'll start the unpacking.
All right.
Are you ready?
You're there.
All
Yep.
right, so I'm there. So the things that you're not going to see in my kit right now are the Canon R5 and R bodies. The 7200 and the 85 are all in use to make this production. Down the line, I hope to grab a couple more of the video capable bodies to be able to not have to do that, right? But that's that. Those are the only things that you're not going to see here. Everything else is in the bag. And then let's just toggle me back and we'll start going through this. And I'll just start here at the top, right? All right, so I've got power for my laptop. This is all in this expandable front pocket. I have a tiny door wedge. That's one of those black rubber door wedges. Those are great for interior doors. Let's see what's in here. I have a pack of tissues. The front of the bag stuff changes from time to time. I find things, sometimes I'm surprised at what I find in the front of the bag because my folks know they can just drop stuff into the front of the bag if it's an incidental and doesn't need to be protected in the bag. So that's the expanding front pocket there. That was that. And I'm going to try and replace things as we go along, just so that I don't make a huge mess over here, right?
I was going to ask if you were going to pull it out and leave it.
No, I'm not. And there just isn't room for that because there's a lot of kit, right? Yep. So then, and you can toggle back and forth. If I'm like in between stuff, you can toggle back and forth with the slide and me, but I guess right now. So inside this pocket, and I wish I could show this to you better, this is expanded as far as it goes. Inside this pocket, I have a pack of diaper wipes.
Nice. Actually, that's a good addition.
Dude, if you don't have diaper wipes in your bag for cleanups,
yeah,
of all kinds.
For cleanups.
Well, you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
I can tell you, I'm going to reach in the front. I'm going to reach in the front of this other bag. We're going to get to this other bag. But I can tell you, you know what's in here? The ladies will know what that is. I have female staff members, okay? We take feminine hygiene products with us on location. I just need to make sure that my girls are covered, right? So in the front of the bag here, again, so we're back to this. I've got, in a zippered pocket, I've got the moist wipes. We'll just call them that. Good for cleanup. I, too, this is a Gerber, okay? Yep. It's a Gerber multi-tool. This tool saved a shoot for me one time. This tool right here, the pliers, saved a shoot for me one time. I had a piece of equipment fail. It was back in my cheap stand days. And if you're using cheap stands, just know they will leave you wanting better stands.
I do have an anecdote on that. I got to thinking about this after last week. Mike Gerber, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was on the wedding, I fixed 4 bow ties. The clasp on the back of a bow tie.
No kidding.
Yeah, with Mike Gerber. That's you might not be fixing your equipment, right. You might be helping somebody else out.
Yeah, so. That's absolutely true. I always carry a lens pen. I actually prefer the lens pen brand. This is for, I never touch my lenses. I very, very, very infrequently touch my lenses with cloth. I always use a lens pen. In the bag, I have a Rocket Air blower, which we'll show you in just a minute. I have a standard pen, and I have a Sharpie. You all know what a Sharpie looks like. And then also in the top of the bag is my laptop.
Nice.
Okay? And we have the same laptop. That's the XPS 15.
Yeah, they work good.
This thing's a bomb, right?
Yep,
so, okay, very good. That's the top of the bag. And then we go deeper into the bag. And again, my rule was, it's at least half zipped if it's closed. It was closed, so it was half zipped. So we take this very carefully and lay it open. And I'm going to start on the far right over here. I'll just hold this up here. I actually have I have the instruction manual for one item in my bag because I don't use it often enough to remember how to use it. I have another lens pen, but a tiny one up here. I have a pack of mints. Okay. I do headshots, folks. That means getting in people's faces to fix ties and hair. I never want to have food or coffee breath. Meal mouth is what I call it. I never want to have that. You know what I'm talking about, Larry?
I do.
You're chuckling.
Yep.
Right? I never want to get in a client's face and smell like I just had lunch.
I'm chuckling because I know exactly what you're talking about.
I have this little dinky thing. You can buy these in the pack of like, you could just buy a ton of these. These are twinkle lights. I don't know what the heck else to call them. They're just LED twinkle lights. I keep this in a window pocket on the top of my bag.
That's a brilliant idea.
Right.
See, that's going in my little
It's
little
just
bag.
in this window, right? So all I have to do is reach in and hit this little button, and now I have a light in my bag, and right behind it I have a white lens cloth. And that amplifies the light and also gives me a lens cloth should I get into a really grimy situation with a lens.
You don't have Wilma, though.
What's that? I don't have Wilma. I was actually like, what am I going to do? I don't have anything even close to Wilma. Right? And so he's got a cloth in his bag. Anyway, great story.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch that story, you want to go on and catch that from last week's episode. He's got Wilma, a really cool cloth. All right, so in the next pocket down, so that was just the first two pockets. The next pocket down, cell phone charging cord, a nice long one. All right, and then I don't know if you know all those cool rubber bands or rubber wristbands that people wear.
Yeah.
Right. I don't ever wear this. You know what these are great for?
Taking off lenses.
Taking off filters from the front of the lens. So this one happens. My son works at Urban Air.
It's probably one of the best filter wrenches you can get.
It is.
And they're free. All you have to do is.
My son works at Urban Air. This is my lens filter wrench. Is exactly what it is. I have some 3/8 to 1/4-20 adapters in here.
And for those of you that don't know what he's talking about, that's from 3/8 to 1/4 up or down on a particular piece of equipment that either has a 3/8 and you need 1/4 or has 1/4 and you need 3/8. So
yeah,
there you go.
I have a bunch of those in here. These screw onto the top of my light stands, and I can put a camera on a light stand if you ever need to do that, which I do when I shoot. I have just a multi-port plug-in charger for USB. That's just handy as heck to have. When we're doing long days or multiple days on location, we want to make sure everybody is able to charge. We have some gear that's USB only, iPads, iPhones, all that stuff, right? So that's that pocket. We keep going down the line here, right? I've got a brand new, this is a Hoya circular polarizing filter. I use this when I shoot interiors and exteriors architectural photography as a glare reducer and color enhancer. That's what a circular polarizer does. All right, that comes out primarily for architectural photography. I never use it when shooting people, except maybe in the odd chance that I'm shooting something outdoors and I want to enhance the background or cut glare, right? But generally that's my architectural stuff.
Or if you're trying to do trick shots with flash and you have to reduce the amount of light coming into your lens because you're
the polarizer will do
that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I have spare camera batteries. I'm not going to take those out. You know what those look like. I'm in the LPE6NH series now. If you're that nerdy and you know what I'm talking about, those are the deepest cycling Canon batteries. So the LPE6NH is more amp hours for the battery, and they are backwards compatible all the way through the 5D series, which is amazing, right?
Yep.
I have my tether cable. I have a backup tether cable. Why? Because cables fail, right? All right, I'm ready to get into the body of this bag. Do we want to flash that?
I have the list up.
You have the list up.
Yep.
Okay. All right, bring it back.
So tell us a little bit more. Is the speaker in the body of the bag?
It's right here. Yeah. We're going to dig.
All right, here you go.
You ready?
Yeah, we're dig.
All right, so
dig,
now we're getting into the body of the bag, and there's just so much stuff in here. It's kind of mind-boggling. This is just a sock. It can cover a light and give you a slight bit of diffusion if you need it. I actually picked that up on the baseball shoot. It might be yours.
Probably.
It might be Mark's. I'm not sure whose that is.
I think that's mine.
It was on a light. I carry a light meter. I have one in the studio and one in my camera bag. Thank you, Linda V. I bought this from you. And so light meter, I have I use the Flashpoint brand Godox lights. So this is the Explore 300 Pro. All of these lights are TTL. I have, in this bag, I have a 400, a 300, and a 100.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the 300. I will show you my nifty lens caps.
I have those too. I love those things.
You love these?
Yes.
The Lens Buddies?
Yep.
So Lens Buddy, LENZ Buddy, I think they're out of Texas. All of my lenses in my bag wear these custom caps. Mine actually have my name and what we do on them, so they're kind of, they're not quite logoed, but they're identifiable as mine anyway. These are 2 lenses that are in use right now to make this video, this broadcast. The 7200, the 24 to 105 are what we're using. Actually, my 85 is in here. 85 1.2. I'm in the RF system exclusively. Let's try and keep going right to left here. I have, this would be premature. I have a USB battery pack.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a
This is a 3200.
100. Yeah.
Yeah, 3200. I can charge my iPad with this fully from dead to fully go. I have the big iPad Pro 12.9 last year's model. It sucks up battery like crazy. These are fantastic. This will run that monitor that you're using over there. Mm-hmm. This will run that monitor for days. That's a great reason to have a backup USB-C cable, is because you can use it to run things with your battery pack if need be. I don't normally carry a full pack of 12 of these. I normally carry a 4-pack. I don't use that many AA batteries anymore, but my radio triggers do use them, so I do carry spares. My 4-pack is currently in my travel trailer, which is currently in storage. So normally it's only 4 and it lives in one of the upper pockets, but I don't go anywhere without batteries to back everything up. So then I have a pair of radio triggers for my lights. This is the R2 Pro 2 from Flashpoint's, the Outer Armor brand. I actually like theirs better than the Godox because they have added features. And then this is just a backup trigger in case this thing takes a fall or fails on me for some reason.
Is that the X1?
This is the R2T. It's probably the X1.
Has it got a little wheel on the underneath side of it?
No, it doesn't.
So yeah, it's the X1. So.
Yeah, okay. This is the one that I have the manual for, because I don't use this very often. It's literally backup. I put fresh batteries in both before we go on a location shoot, so that I know that I have the ability to trigger my cameras. When I had the other studio and we're teaching workshops all the time, I had a stack of these, probably 6 or 8 tall. I had Sony, I had Nikon, I had all of them. The coolest thing about these guys is that in the special functions you can single pin these and put them on any camera that you want to, as long as they fire on the single pin. Canon has changed what pin they fire from.
So I just picked up the X2. And
with the wheel underneath?
Yes.
I've had a chance to use that. That's
and
cool.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about it, and I have this coming up on my light meter class, is we were talking about firing light meters or firing flashes so you can light meter it with that, because Godox does have a radio control. A Sekonic light meter does have a Godox unit in it. I don't happen to have one, and I don't plan on buying it anytime soon.
Because they're $800.
Exactly. So the X2 though has Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So you can fire. So you can fire it from your phone, which is awesome.
It is. So if you're making changes from another device, it communicates through this in-app mode, which I really like. I'm going to store that over here for just a minute. Underneath this middle panel, how are we doing? Any comments over there?
No comments yet.
Okay, everybody's just watching Bob unpack his bag.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the 400 Pro. I love these lights. I think that if you had to run a studio on any one light, the 400 is probably the way to go. We use these with tremendous success in broad daylight for a day-long shoot, and with a Magnum reflector on it, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I would say out of the entire Godox line, that is probably the best light.
I think so too.
That they have.
I think so too. All right, so you've seen all of that row and this row. Okay, here we go. Digging in. I've got a pair of Pocket Wizard Plus 3s. You'll notice one has a funky cable on it and one has a lanyard. Funky cable connects to my any of my Canon cameras, and I use these to pre-focus and fire the camera. So I don't have to get behind the camera. If you photograph people and you notice that when you put the camera up to your face, their expression changes, this defeats that entirely, because I can be talking to them from right next to my camera behind it, and I'm engaging with them and we're talking and I get an expression that I love and I fire it off, and they're surprised. They're like, how did that even work? I have a great picture of attorney and city council member Joe Borton. I was approaching him to straighten a tie or do something with his jacket, and he pulled his glasses off and he did a suave culo for the rest of the council members that were standing behind me, and I fired it. Okay, and I caught that capture. It's an awesome image. And anyway, this is a great way to trigger your camera. The Plus 3s aren't expensive, and but again, these are so the 4 things that I have in my bag, the AA battery, are these right here, the 2 triggers and the 2 radio remotes, right? Those are the only things that run on AA batteries, so that's why I carry spares on AA batteries. But everything gets fresh batteries before we go anywhere. And that, coming back through, so I said we've got a 400 and a 300 and a 100. Mine's wearing a little blue condom thing that came free with it. It's just a rubber bumper, right, that protects the light should it get knocked or fallen over. I use these with background lights or accent lights all the time. They are the size of a soda can.
The pop can. Yep.
You showed yours last week, and I'm like, I have that too. This combination of 400, 300, and 100 is my go-to lighting set.
That's your 3 light set right there.
Every day of the week, I add a white reflector, and we're in go mode, right?
Just to go back a little bit to the Pocket Wizard trigger for your camera, that's also very useful, especially if you have somebody new that's trying to pose. They're trying to get into the posing thing, and a lot of times you have to kind of be out there and say, no, this way, that way, this way, whatever, and then you can just hit the button.
Yeah, all you have to do is take half a step away. And
they're not freaking out about the pose while you're doing it. That's a really valuable tip right there.
That is the same concept of me. I'm talking to them from, here's my camera, I'm just talking to them, having conversation, and they give me an expression that's fantastic, and I just fire it off, and I'm usually going to hold that for a moment and capture 2 or 3 images. I find that 5 flash pops is about the most I want to get before somebody's expression is just right. So, but that's exactly right. You can be posing your model.
Right.
All right. Look, don't move. I just got your shirt to do what I need it to do.
Right.
Take a step off. Fire the camera. I do have to tell them sometimes, don't look at me, look at the camera. Like, stay looking at the camera while we do this.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to get into this next row here. I have a Rocket Air. Like I said, I seldom, if ever, actually touch my lenses. I use the lens pen for degreasing. Sometimes you get a little portion of a fingerprint on there or something like that. Always, 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 before touching your lens, you apply Rocket Air to it. Rocket Air, as opposed to canned air, a lot of people don't know this. Don't use canned air on your lenses, folks. Canned air has moisture in it.
Yep.
And chemicals that can damage your lens coatings. Rocket Air is just concentrated room air, okay, with no moisture in it. All right, so that's in here. I have this is the XT-A1-NPL5. I don't know.
It's the 100.
It's
accessory kit.
It's the accessory kit for the 100 light, okay? And we talked a little bit about this last week. These dudes are magnetic. Let's just pull out. This is probably really visible on camera. That was it. I just attached it. That's it. I just took it off, okay? I did add to this kit. I bought it separately. I had to pay like $10. The whole kit's only like 25. But I bought separately a second grid. When you stack grids, you tighten up the pattern. I find double grid gives me a great grid spot on a background behind a subject at the distances that I shoot at. All right. So that's my.
That kit also will fit on the A1, the Godox A1, which is their speed light right there. Sorry. Dang. I didn't know you had one of those in there.
So along with my 400, 300, and 100, I also always carry a speed light. Okay? Folks, if everything crashes and burns on you, you can make great portraits with a speed light by bouncing it and controlling the light. Okay? So this backs up any of these lights. And my control kit, I like to call it a control kit. My modifier kit for the 100 also fits my V1. It's a fantastic, fantastic light. And then of course, a little Rogue round gel kit. It's literally round gels, right? I've got color correction gels, I've got fun gels. It's a whole kit of little round gels. I'm trying to find something that's actually going to be visible on camera. All right, just little round gels. I'm going to find a place to hold that. Little round gels that go right in front of any of these modifiers on either the V1 or the Pro 100, 100 Pro. And I have just a blank magnetic ring to put those on if I need to. Oftentimes, I'm going to wear that with I'm not done yet. He's moving on to the next slide. Okay, so you asked about the speaker. JBL Flip 5.
Nice.
Okay. I can add a lot of ambience to a room and take it almost takes the staleness out of a conference room. You walk into a corporate conference room somewhere and there's a little bit of music playing in the background. I actually use, there's a public list on Spotify called the John Murray Headshot Playlist. John Murray's a headshot photographer, put this great playlist together. And the music's completely benign. You're not going to offend anybody with it. It's a lot of just really good 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's just really good music. I find rap is very polarizing. I wouldn't listen to rap, obviously. I don't look like I would. Country music appeals to me, but it is really polarizing. People either love it or hate it. So I have the John Murray Headshot playlist that I run often. I have a playlist that is the best of 1985. And I find my clients sing while they're here.
To the music.
To the music.
Nice.
Yep. They'll be putting on their tire, putting on their jacket, or changing clothes or whatever, and I find them bopping along to the music, and guess what's happening while they're moving to the music? They're relaxing, they're unwinding, everything's just kind of falling away from them. So that's, oh my gosh, it's almost noon, we've been going a long time. All right, so that's, you know what we're gonna call it, that's it for this kit, this bag anyway. We're gonna put it all back together. I'm gonna zip half of it. That's heavy because there's a laptop in there and some other stuff. Let's go hit that next slide.
Okay.
Yep, you can put that up. My Think Tank Airport Airstream is the smaller of my two Think Tank bags, and it literally has 3 of the 400 Pros with their batteries attached and all the battery chargers for all of the lights that we're using. I find that if I have to get into a situation where I'm charging batteries on location, I'm way in over my head. Yes.
So just in perspective here, just a little bit, we shot those baseball players, and an 8400 for me went all day.
Yours did.
Yeah.
Your batteries are a lot newer than mine.
Yeah. It depends on how fresh they are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would say my batteries probably have another year left on them, and then I'm going to be thinking replacement just because they get a ton of use. So that's what's in. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You're on.
So that's the 8400 bag. It just carries 3 of those lights and all the chargers. And like I said, sometimes in the expandable pockets we find things that my staff needs, right? And then I don't know if I have anything in the front of the pocket here. Sometimes I have a little teeny tiny white balance card.
Nice.
Yeah. That's where that went.
It's in his bag. He didn't
It's
know.
in the bag, right? It's in the bag, that one. So I'm not going to open that. You've seen the 400 in my main bag. And then in the stand bag, the last bag that I want to talk about, it has an absolute ton of stuff in it. It could be its own show, its own episode. But it's got 5 of the 12-foot fold flat stands. They all lock together. They're my favorite stands currently. Kupo's got a new stand called the Click stand that I really like. When these fail, if these fail, I've had them for years and years now, and they're still going strong. I've made 1 repair along the way.
That's nice.
Right? I've got 2 of the nano stands. If you haven't seen the nano stands, these are the nano. Did you have a nano stand last week? You have something akin to a nano stand.
Yeah. but not. I have those.
This is a 6-foot stand.
Yeah, but they're in my Pelican.
I use it for two things. I use it for my Pro 100, my 100 Pro, my little tiny light, the soda can light. For background, these will go super low to the ground. I can get a light within this distance to the ground. That's amazing. And then I also use this for my reflectors because the reflector doesn't weigh much at all, and I sandbag it, right?
I put a 300 on those. Seriously.
Put a 300 on it?
Yeah. No.
I could see doing that.
I put a 300 with no modifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't see doing it with a modifier. The modifier would just make it kind of crazy. So I'm just going to run through the list, and fortunately I can see the list. The 2 nano stands, I've got a 48-inch Octabox, 2 64-inch white umbrellas, and I alluded to this when I was over there, why I bring 2 tripods and why there's always 2 white umbrellas in my kit. And this is as simple as getting to the job site. They've hired you to come in and shoot 60 headshots. You've got 6 hours to do that, no problem. And then one of the corporate execs walks in and says, hey, our corporate team from Zimbabwe is here. And it's 7 people, and we'd love to get some group photos.
Yeah.
I'm not set up for group photos, but I'm well equipped for group photos.
Yeah.
I have a spare. I duplicate everything, right? Within reason. But that's why my 24-105 is in the bag, because I can handle group photos. They usually want it to incorporate some architectural element of their location, whether it's a particular part of their architecture or it's signage or whatever. So the 2 umbrellas, the stands, the extra tripod, the extra cameras, the extra lenses, the extra lights allow me to do all of that.
And I over here chuckling because, again, a wedding is not unlike that. You'll start out and you'll do all the principles, and then all of a sudden grandma stands up and goes, let's have everybody in here.
Right.
And you're in a cave, and literally that's how come I carry the Pelican with the extra lights in it,
right,
and the extra stuff. So yeah. I get it.
Yep. So that's why there's 2 white umbrellas in there. They're big white umbrellas, and they I cross them, and we could talk technique on that. Maybe we should do that one of these days. Talk about lighting groups. That would be a fun episode.
Actually, lighting groups and what the light does inside of a parabolic and where it goes, and why you should do what I call fly the light, what Bob calls something different. What do you call it?
We're flying the light over there, right there on you now.
At any rate, that would be an interesting, that might be something.
That would be a cool conversation. Yeah. All right, we've got our multi-outlet cord that you see here on the reel. That actually is a new addition. I've been using one that folds up and goes in the bag. This goes in the bag also, but it just cranks up. It's super easy, and your hands don't get as dirty as folding cords that have been walked on, stepped on the ground. I have a big, like 8.5 by 11 sized white balance card. I also carry a quarter CTO gel in that bag all the times because I have one client that we shoot quarterly or more frequently that I need that for. So it's always with me. And then there's just a multitude of A clamps or spring clamps, right? Super clamps. This is a super clamp up here. I've got a J hook on it, but I also have a variety of snap pins. The J hook is one of those snap pins, but I have straight ones and I have 90-degree angle ones. All kinds of things to solve problems. Sometimes there isn't room to set up a light stand, but I can attach to an architectural element or a steel beam or something and run off of that using my super clamps. And I know we're a little afternoon. I'm just gonna wrap this up here real quick. In the top of this bag, we have clipboards, pens, highlighters, Sharpies, press releases. We do a press release in a really interesting way. It's a half page. It's not the most robust press release. It probably wouldn't cover the most severe situations where somebody's asking you about a press release. I'm sure it wouldn't meet who's the big group? The Getty. It probably wouldn't meet the Getty standard for press release.
Yep.
But they write their name big at the top of that and then sign the bottom of the date. But what I really use that for is their mugshot. I start each person with that in front of them under their chin to capture their name and face in the same frame, and then we move on. We do that with every single bit of our volume photography, and it solves so many problems. And then that document comes to me at the shoot station, and I actually write the leading frame number on it, or the picked frame number on it, so that we have that checks and balances system. Tether table can live in that bag. Sometimes it lives in this bag. Depends how I'm packing out. And then in the top of the bag also, I've got a collapsible 5-in-1 reflector and a collapsible flag, which is just a collapsible gray like windshield screen that Vince gave me, and it's perfect for flagging light. Everybody's been asked to show up in a navy blue or black sport coat with a blue shirt, and you get a guy who walks in, what's he wearing?
White shirt.
A white shirt.
Yep.
So you have to flag that.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, that's what's in the big Manfrotto bag, and that pretty much wraps up this over here.
Awesome.
Okay, do you want to come back to camera 1 and bump over? We'll cover our closing statements and we'll get out of here.
Let's see, camera 1.
Just hit 1.
Let's do that.
Yep, and hit auto.
Okay.
And it's back to you.
Ta-da! I did it.
Back.
I'm on my very first business here.
Do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I want to try this.
All right.
Check this
you
out.
got the wrap up. I'll answer your phone when
All
it
right.
rings.
Yeah.
I do need my water. I was a little dry over there.
Well, how come that didn't come over here now? What am I doing wrong here?
So press the 4. Okay, now that's your preview.
Gotcha.
Cool. All right, so green is
you told me it
preview,
was coming. Yeah,
red is
okay.
live.
Got it.
And then,
Well, thank you. That was interesting.
oh man, that was a lot of talking.
You carry a ton of stuff, but again, different. He's doing a completely different. He's doing a commercial shoot, and I'm not. Basically, is where it works out to. So,
and we, I can't emphasize this enough. For me, and even anybody, if you
you go slow down.
if you shoot any kind of an event photography that's a one-time deal, redundancy is your friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's never, ever, ever a time when I want the CEO, CFO, or any C-suite anybody sitting in my chair, and I have a light go out that I'm like, oh crap, my light broke.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
I'm like, let me get you a water. Actually, one of my team is going to do that. It's seamless. They're like, here, grab a water. Boom, they're sitting there drinking. 45 seconds later, we're back up and running.
And in his business, it would be very important to have that light technically be the same, so that you can just keep on going, right? Because you can just turn it on basically, and away you go. If you have to think on your feet, like I don't carry an extra 400. I have at least 2 of everything else. So if I'm ever out and I have my 400 on, remember guys that this is a Godox talk. This is not Profoto or any of the others. So as a general rule, there's a half a stop between their numbers. So like a 400 to a 300 is a half a stop, a 300 to a 200 is a half a stop. So I know if I'm using my 400 and for whatever reason battery dies, I don't have an extra. I do have an extra, but if I don't, if something goes wrong, falls over, crashes, I can go get the 300 and just dial it up a half a stop more, and you're there.
And you're there.
So just remember that you can. And the reason I'm telling you this, you think, oh God, this is a lot of equipment. I got to go out and buy this. I got to go out. No. To start out, you don't have to. You don't. I mean, literally, that was a whole studio.
I've got a tip. I've got a pro tip.
Come over and borrow Bob's?
Well, no, there's that. We do that here, just so you know. If you need a piece of equipment for a shoot, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Come borrow it. I know you're good for it. I don't even care who you are, right?
Yeah.
Don't buy a piece of equipment for one shoot unless you know that you can monetize that piece of equipment
Exactly,
later on, right?
exactly.
That's what this network is all about. That's going to come into that conversation right there.
Yep.
But I want to say this. I don't buy components for my lights. I don't carry spare flash tubes and spare batteries.
No.
Okay. A spare flash tube and battery for the 400 is $280 worth of spares.
Yep.
For another $100, I get a whole another spare light when they're on sale-ish.
Yeah.
All right? I don't have to spend a lot more money to get a whole spare light. And that's so much easier than swapping out a flash tube or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, if I have a flash tube break, I'm going to order one.
Well, sure.
But I have spare lights to cover that. And I have, so that's my pro tip.
We can go on and on about these lights. Like, for example, the 8200 comes with the Fresnel lens, and then it also comes with a bare bulb. So that's not what he's talking about, though. Like, I don't order light bulb. I don't buy extra bulbs either for the same reason.
Yeah.
First of all, I have 2 of those lights. So I'll just use the other one.
Right, it's just so much easier to swap the next light in and carry on and then fix it later.
And for those of you that
I'm going to fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly. Fix it in post. For those of you that are looking at all this gear, though, please remember, if you're just starting out, you don't need to buy a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
You will want to accumulate stuff.
This isn't a starter kit.
Yeah,
you know what?
that's
So
not
Brenda
it.
Leap says, okay, now I feel better. I take about the same amount of stuff. And I want to say this, and we'll wrap it up here. We went long today.
Yeah.
Go figure, I was talking.
Well, and I was late, so on time-ish late.
You weren't on time at all. Dude, I was already live. So here's the thing. Everything that we take on location with us, none of it happens accidentally. Everything that we take on location has a purpose.
Well, and it's been vetted, right? I mean,
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Everything that we take is there for a reason. It's been vetted. It's the equipment I need. It's the spares I need. And it allows me to be adaptable to just about anything my client might throw at me. I used this scenario the other day where I went to photograph a certain major health group. They're C-suite people. Here they've sold since then. And they literally stuck me in an empty closet. They'd emptied a closet to make a podcasting booth out of, which nice tight space for that. And this was before they did all the soundproofing and all that. It was just a white little box. Okay, so we're gonna make pictures in a little white box. I'm gonna have light everywhere. I need to be able to repeat this if they want to come do this in the studio. So how are we gonna do this?
yeah.
So anyway, those are things to concern yourself with, and when you're building out a kit to go on location with. But
Yeah.
cool episode today. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you taking time out of your Saturday. I know that's not easy for you.
Well, it was, I just trying to get, so I'm going to be fly fishing all next week, so be jealous because I'm all in.
Where are you going?
We're going to go up to the Henry's Fork above Idaho.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's
I
gonna be
just,
really-
speaking of Idaho Falls, I just read yesterday Alaska Airlines is adding direct
Yeah.
service between Boise and Idaho Falls, and I think that's fabulous.
It is.
Gordon.
going to be expensive, but it's going to be fabulous.
Well, we won't get into
Yeah.
the economy issues,
Yeah.
right? All right, so why don't you bring this over and you can close us on that.
Yeah, so listen, guys, you just heard us. This is a community. We're here to help. We're not here to hinder. We're certainly not here to tear you apart.
I'm not here to judge
Yeah,
anybody.
and nobody gets judged.
I want to lift your ship.
And listen, if somebody's judging you from this group, you let us know, and we'll make sure that we speak to the person, because that's not what we're all about. But you heard us talk about Aaron and Brian coming in and the discounts you get on that. You get discounts on fall retreat. You get
Put you in the corner.
no, let's do the corner thing.
Boop.
Okay.
There.
Let's get discount. We get give you discounts on our fall retreat. We'll get some discounts on the convention coming up. It's pretty simple to join us. It's $9.99 a month or $99 a year. If you do the $9.99 a month, we ask for a 12-month commitment. Please don't bail after 1 month. But just go to ppofidaho.com. There's a huge join us button right on the front page.
Yeah.
We'll take you right to the registration page, and I promise we will approve your membership, assuming everything's all right, and get you in there. So,
Yeah, man. And then come be part of a community that supports what you do and what you love. And it's my absolute favorite thing
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the planet. And it's why we've been doing this for years now, every week.
Yeah.
Right? You wanna end us out on that?
I will.
All right, so next week we've got a really cool feature with Sam Marvin. He's gonna show us in his kit, and I think that we're gonna have to do some pictures because some of his kit is actually mounted in his truck. Anyway, next
true.
week I've got Sam Marvin on set, and we're looking forward to seeing you. We'll be back on Friday for that at 11. I appreciate you joining us here on a Saturday morning and now Saturday afternoon. Let's hit fade to black. Say bye-bye, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.